So you have to try to adapt to the system in order to get survive. I was talking to a group of teachers just Monday in the mailing program, okay? And then my topic was what works. I was first. I said, well, first thing you need to do is try to survive every day, especially the first week, right? And then somewhere down the road, and then when it comes to May next year, it's going to be, am I going to stay or am I going to leave? Am I going to leave this school and move on to the next school, still in the program, or what's next, right? So I hope you're not surviving, okay? After a couple of weeks, especially after a month, you have tried to adapt to everything, and then you try to get used to everything. I hope everything can get better, and then somehow when you're sharing your experience with your friends, from your country or your friends around you, you're saying, hey, I'm happy with my job, I'm happy with my teachers, I'm happy with my kids, I'm happy with my work, everything looked dandy, and then, I think I'm gonna stay, because only you stay, you get a raise. You know that already, right? But if you if you try, you're not going to stay with this school, and then you try to move on to another school, which means what? Your salary stays, right? Okay, so I hope that everything worked out for you. Okay, closeness in work ethics and attitude, your devotion. A school, what is school? Maybe at the end we're going to summarize what school is looking for. We want to see, especially in a co-teaching situation, you have what? You have 2 teachers, and you are mainly teaching up there. And so you have what? You have kids learning from you, and you have kids watching you teach, and you also have a co-teacher like, this look, this is color skin, this color hair, watching you and work with you. So we kind of work with you. Half of the time we work with you, and half of the time we work watching you, how you teach. So we learn something from you. We learn something good, so we can use it, we can steal it, and we learn something. Oh, that's not going. That's something that I should get away from. Okay, so you have somebody watching you. So we want to see how devoted you are with our kids, with your work. That's something that we are aiming for from a teacher. Okay, and then high similarity in work standards, actually, and requirements, which means that we try to get away from teachers that are, this is okay, I think this is fine, your flashcards is not organized in order, you were organizing flashcard, oh, sorry, and then, you were take a look at your lesson plans while you're teaching. These are the things, it's just not what we're asking teacher not to do, because you drafted up the lesson plan. You should know, so the flow of the lesson is very important. Is what we are watching for as well. Okay, all right, and then a requirement. I have heard that, especially if you have a chance of teaching grade 2. Grade 2 is the year that kids start learning how to write alphabets. Okay, in that little 4 lines. Okay, and then so, what is your standard if you ask your kids to hand in their activity book, their writing book? What is your standard? That's what school is looking for as well. Okay, I know it's painful. It's very painful to go through maybe 200 books, of every week or every other week. But that's, if that's your job, then you just have to try to. Otherwise, you need to think of something to ask kids to give you a perfect homework. Okay, all right. Oh, okay. And then open communication. This is probably the hardest thing. It's easy to say, but hardest to do. We all say, oh, when you were introducing yourself in the video, or you have a Q&A with us, and we were saying, oh, why don't you give a quick introduction of yourself? Tell us something about you, and then tell us your strength about you. And then a lot of teachers tell me, oh, I'm an open-minded person. I'm open to any suggestions. I'm open to communications. What is open communication? Means what? People can talk to you in your face. You can accept everything that we say. I can say whatever I want, and it's okay with you. Of course not. Especially we're Westerner and Easterner. we're two different, you're on this end, we're on this end, right? Where do we come somewhere in the middle, right? Since we met up in Taiwan. So are you supposed to come closer to us, or are we supposed to come closer to you? Have you thought about that? Balance, right? Good. Open communication means what? There must be a balance. But of course, again, this this relates to personality, right? Because everybody's maybe you're more, this is maybe it's part in your gene, maybe, okay? Because everybody's born differently, right? So communication means okay. Like I said, it's easy to say, right? Very hard to do. And over the it's better? Oh, okay, all right, good. All right. This is part of the lesson that every teacher has to learn, both local teacher and foreign teachers. You have to try to learn how we talk and how we express things, how we ask something from you. And we also have to learn how you talk, how you ask for things, and vice versa. I don't know. I think some of you like Ben. I saw your video. That's why I know you were going to Dogen, right?
Yeah.
And then
Huli.
oh, Huli. Junior high school or elementary?
Elementary.
Oh, elementary. Okay, and you are
Dongmu.
oh, Dongmen. Okay. And then Nanhua.
Yeah.
Nanhua. Junior high school.
No. Sunshine Elementary.
Oh, Sunshine. Oh, to school. And Sanmi. Oh, okay. All right. Whatever. All right. Oh, how many of you stayed in Taiwan before? Wow. Okay. Well, describe how Taiwanese people when it comes to communication. Ah, very good. We curve. We just cannot go straight line, just like we're driving on the road. We don't have a patience waiting for a car parked, waiting for to left turn, and then we just have to go around, right? We don't have I don't know. We don't have a patience on the road, but somehow we have patience when we start talking, right? We can't. When we want you to get to here, we have to go and then somehow at the end we say, oh, that's okay. But if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay too. Then you start wondering, hey, so do you want me to do A or not? Right? But actually, the answer is probably yes. And why we end up with that, it's okay. Oh, I think it's okay if you don't feel comfortable, changing it. That's okay too. Why? Because we try to be polite. We don't want to hurt your feelings. And I don't know. It must be very hard to deal with people like us. Right? But of course, over the course of 14 years, we have all grown. Okay, hopefully, with the latecomers like you have a better chance of meeting teachers that have a better communication skills. Knowing how to talk to you, knowing how to communicate with you. But that's not 100%. You are probably going to see some very hard to deal with teachers, that you have to work with and that you have to co-work with in the classroom. And maybe when you have a chance of meeting that kind of teacher, you will call it, you survive every class. You're hoping, oh, this day is going to end quickly, and then at least I have a couple of days of get away from that teacher. But again, and it's hard, it's hard to change yourself. It's like we are trying to change you to become more of us. It's tough too, right? So it's probably going to be very hard to change us to become you, right? So I guess it takes time. All I can say, it takes time. Be patient with each other. Complaining is no use because we can complain too. And one worst thing is that you probably have a chance of meeting teachers. Some teachers saying, "Oh, you pass out the lesson plan," and then they'll say, "Wow, the lesson plan looks very good. Yeah, good, excellent. All right, good job." And then when it comes to evaluation, your grade just telling me everything we're dandy, everything is cool, you know? And why? Suddenly when it comes to renewing the contract, you say, I have all these weaknesses throughout the year that you haven't told me yet. You know, so actually you should appreciate, what I'm saying is that you should appreciate the teachers, a group of teachers that giving you feedbacks, giving you suggestions. Hey, Teacher Kat, you know, why don't we try this? You know, the things that you were doing is just probably not as good because when I was watching the kids, some kids just couldn't get it. Maybe next time when we are doing this, we can try something else. You know, going back forth with your co-teacher is probably the best idea. You know, I don't know how your office is arranged, but the best thing arrangement is that you are sitting right next to or close to your co-teachers. Okay, doesn't have to be head teacher, but at least your co-teacher. So you can talk to your teachers all the time. You know, especially when you guys have no class. You know, you are sitting there grading papers or doing your lesson plans. You know, sometimes you start chatting. Chatting about what? You know, not shopping. Okay, not personal things, but talking about the classes, talking about your kids. You know, talking about things just doesn't work out. What can I do? Even talk to the teachers that you do not work with. You know, ask them. You know, if you cannot find answers, good answers that the solution that you're comfortable with, talk to other co-teachers. See, I'm encountered with this problem. Can you share something, you know, good idea with me that maybe you have the same problem with your team's situation, okay? Especially if you're in a bigger school like Sunmi, like Dongmen, you know, they have more foreign teachers than just yourself. Talk to them as well. Okay, see if they can give you, you know, especially those the teacher with more seniority, they probably can tell you how to deal with the co-teachers or the Chinese teacher in the school. You know, you might get good tips. But the worst thing that if you get, I really don't like that the answer is, you know, if your foreign teacher tell you, oh, just do everything, just do everything that co-teacher tells you to do. Please don't. That's just not, you know, if you encounter this kind of foreign teacher, please do not take this advice. Okay? No, okay? Because that's not what we want. You know, again, that come back to communication. Right? We want, you know, if we think that some part this activity is just not working, we give you why. We give you reasons, you know. And then you, if you strongly think that I really think this will work, please ask them to give you at least one class of trying. And then if you try out, then you discuss it. Oh, yeah, maybe you were wrong, or maybe I was wrong. Then that comes to that is another conclusion between you. Because one activity can end up with a different result with Kath and with E. What's her name? Andrew, yeah. I think same day has another Andrew with you on the preliminary.
Oh,
but
yes,
he didn't
yes.
make it. That's why I remember. Okay, so anyway, doesn't mean that we have 14 years of experience. You know, everything we say is correct. That's not true. Especially, let me give you an example. A lot of foreign teachers like to do charades. Charade, right? You play, especially when it comes to action activity, you know, especially when it comes to feeling units, okay? You were saying, oh, some kids just like to talk in the classroom all the time. So I'm going to get those naughty kids or the very outgoing kids to come out, and then you give him or you whisper the answer. And then the kids will start acting out. No, from my past years, especially grade 5 and grade 6. Doesn't matter who you get. You know, with the most naughty or outgoing, you know, like to do whatever things can. When they come out, they will be like this. That kills the game, don't you think? Because charades just have to be, you know, you just have to use a lot of your body language. You need, the only thing you don't say is your mouth, right? You don't use your mouth. You use everything except your mouth. But for our kids, it's just not It's just not working. So every time when a teacher put down, he or she wants to play a charade game, then I have to sit down with the teacher. Of course, I share my experiences. But of course, if the teacher insists, this is a fun game, I love it, blah, blah, blah. But then my answer is, okay, give it a try. But you have to understand, every class only got one chance, right? You were in there for this week, for this unit, for this section of the unit. Next week, it's a new section again, right? So we usually, like Shima, Kath is going to teach a grade 2, 3, and 4, right? And then she's in charge of the whole grade 3. And then I think we have 6 or 7 classes of grade 3. So actually the first class for that unit, for that lesson plan is what? The experimental class, right? And after that class, you and your co-teacher is going to talk about it. Things is working, things is not working. So if something needs to be changed, we do it on the second class, right? So the second class can get a better lesson plan, right? So after that, the change is excellent. The change is not good. Maybe we should try something different. Plan C. We move on to the third class. Usually, from our experiences, that the third class usually is probably the perfect, starting the perfect. And then you lose patience after your fourth class. And then fifth class, you're like you're like CD player. But my strong suggestion is that if you're in that situation, usually you're going to teach a lot of classes with the same lesson plan. Try to, when you step into the classroom, and then refresh yourself. Oh, wow, this is going to be fun. This is going to be, this is the first time I teach this lesson. Don't, otherwise the later class, they're going to feel, teacher has no energy, teacher is so bored with the class because, so bored with the game because I have played so many times. Right? Especially when you're teaching grade 1, grade 2, the little ones. You're going to sing, you're going to dance, you're going to jump, you're going to turn around 3 times, you're going to feel so dizzy. And sometimes your first grade, your class is grade 1, class 1, grade 1, class 2, grade 1, class 3, grade 1, class 4. They are set up this way. After 10 minutes of break, you're going to turn around 3 times, so many times. After lunch, you're going to be so sick, and you don't want to do it again. So how about class 4, 5, 6, and 7? How about those poor kids? They're so excited for you to show up. And then seeing you, turn around 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Instead of 1, 2, 3, you do it yourself. Yeah. I understand. We're teachers. So, that's why, actually, somewhere down the road, a lot of English teachers don't want to be an English teacher anymore. So they just back off. They become what we call the regular homeroom teacher. They don't even want to be English teacher because they think it's so tiresome. Okay? All right, so, since we're here, you might as well just try to live with it. Okay? But live with it is just the minimum standard. Okay? But be happy with it as well. Okay? All right, so, where was I? Open language? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so we have one jumping. All right, anyway, so a lot of things that you have to think about, those factors that okay, last one. All right, caring and concerns for each other. All right, I usually suggest to Chinese teachers, local teachers, and foreign teachers, what kind of relationship that you need to keep between you, among you and your co-teachers. Well, start slow, of course. Start as a colleague, right? If everything goes well, maybe you can step up to the next level, but I wouldn't get too close. Not yet, especially the first year. All right, maybe somewhere down the road, the second year, the third year, you can do something personal together. But you know why? Because when relationship gets too close, it's hard to deal with business. right? When something that the school needs you to do something, or when I see something that is not working, that maybe, for example, Kath, once we get to know each other, we become very close, and suddenly when she start coming to school, maybe 5 minutes late, 5 days, 3 days in a week, should I say something or shouldn't I say something? If I said it, would Kath be mad at me? If I don't say something, what about other teachers? Will they say something? Oh, because, Kath has a very good relationship with Lisa, that's why Lisa doesn't say anything. And then so other teacher will start coming in late, 3 days a week, and then so the whole thing gets messy. So same thing, you think about it, because everybody works different. But I try to stay, as a colleague, because business is business, right? Unless we can. That's why. So Carrie, of course, I usually, I'm going to introduce head teachers, even though your personal, your daily life is in charge by agent Dewey, right? When you get into, if you need to contact your landlord, if you need to get your phone set up, if you're running out of gas, something, of course, basically you should call your agent for help. Okay, you lost your key, so you cannot get in. These are the things that you need to get in contact with the agent. But of course, you can talk to your head teacher as well. I usually, before I often call the guests, because some of the apartment they don't have the natural gas coming from the pipe. They have to order the tank, right? All right. So when the teachers start cooking and the gas ran out. So the teacher called me, hey Lisa, can you blah blah blah, okay, all right. So I call the guest, I call the gas company, and then I say, hey, can you send blah blah blah, and then when you ring the doorbell, just tell them gas, and then the door will be opened. I've done this kind of thing, all right, and then like young guy like Andrew, if you get drunk in the bar, or oh, really good. That's
No.
all right.
Well, I do just what I am.
Okay. Well, you get anything, call your agent. They should be on call 24 hours a day. Something that you need help, they're the one. I once had a teacher that passed out in the apartment and just didn't show up in the classroom. All right. And then so I went. I didn't even know where he was leaving, and then he was staying. So I just know he was somewhere, the couple building behind the school. So I went and then I checked, and then so I went knock on the door, bang on the door, still no answer. I called, his wife was away, out of country. So he was alone in the apartment. And we bang on the door, and then his car was parked in the apartment. And then the guard says, oh, I didn't see his car, came out the garage. So it means that supposedly he should be in the apartment. He just couldn't. So we waited, till late that afternoon. He waked up. So that was one hell of a experience. That was something. So I got all kinds of stories. So that I can share with you. So this is some of the factors that just a factor that's let you start to be successful in a co-teaching situation. Okay. All right. So 14 years when the co-teaching was suddenly popped up in the Shinju program. All right. We have this what we call head teacher that just somehow popped up. And then so what does your co-teacher do? He is the bridge between the city government, between the school administration, between foreign teachers and the agent. So whatever regards you, whatever regards English teaching, that's the head teacher's job. So those people, they need to, all right, if the city government needs to pass on some information to you, they go to the head teacher, and then they'll be passed on to you. If the school administration, walking by your classroom and then say, oh, Andrew is, every time when the principal passed by and he was all asking kids to do homework or, doing doodling. So the principal will come and talk to me, right? She after observed this kind of situation, please talk to teacher Andrew and then, ask him what was going on, and then maybe something need to be done. These are the things that a teacher has to do. Agent, of course, usually agent, if they need to get to you, usually sometimes they will bypass us, and then they'll write you an email, right? And then sometimes, if they need to let us know, they'll give it to you. And then, of course, you, right? Anything that regards you with, among your co-teachers, among the school that things is not going well, or things that you need, head teacher is the person that you need to talk to. Okay? All right, so, and usually you will find, I am probably the oldest, I just become head teachers from year 1 all the way up till now. But usually you will see a lot of school, nobody wants to be a head teacher because they think it's a painful job. So many things that besides teaching, they already have a heavy workload with the teaching. They also have to take on the job. They prefer not to. So they usually a lot of school is doing rotations. So this year is my turn. So next year will be Linda, and then the following year will be Susan. It's a rotation. So it means that I don't have to get on the job. So if you're staying in a school long enough, you're gonna sometimes that's the situation. Okay, so be careful with you're in that kind of school, because sometimes every head teacher deal with things differently. Okay, if you talk to this teacher and say, oh, blah 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 with your situation, maybe she'll give you this kind of answer. But when you talk to somebody else, somehow they'll give you a different answer. So I guess you have to kind of double check. With however, Kat, I hope she feels lucky that basically I just take care of throughout the years. So I pretty much usually they call me I'm a walking dictionary for the English program in Shitu. So and then I also involve in everything. If you ask me, teaching wise and administration wise, recruiting wise, set up trainings for new teachers, set up training for on-site training. So pretty much, I worked with publishers, to blah blah blah. So usually I'm okay with a lot of things. Okay, all right. So the head teacher is the most important things that you need to talk to. Okay, especially when it comes to personal, you're taking leave, right? That's the first person that you need to talk to. Oh, blah blah blah. I'm going to take a personal leave. Is it okay? What kind of things that I need to prepare before I take off. On that day. A lot of things that need to be done. Okay. All right. So these are it's a bridge, right? And then things that I do. It depends every school. Like personally, I take care of your salary. Okay, everything that regards you. I take care of salary, your airfare reimbursement. I take care of your labor insurance, your health insurance. If anything, if your health card doesn't work, when you go to see a doctor, who do you talk to? Your head teacher, of course. Hey Lisa, I go to see the doctor, and then they say my health card is not working. Can you check for me? Something went wrong. So I will take care of it. I will tell you what to do. Maybe your car is broken or your blah blah blah, all kind of thing. These are the things that I do. So actually, head teacher needs to keep a very good relationship with other teachers in other offices. Because you working in school involves general affair, involves student affair, involve counseling affairs. You think why? Because counseling. If you're teaching in the classroom, somehow one of the kids, with a feeling, ADHD, something that involved counseling office. We need to have you showed up and explain what was going on in your classroom, especially now grade 5 and grade 6. You're the only teacher in the classroom. Nobody's in there. So who knows what's going on, right? You're the only one that in the classroom. So you, of course, you have to give us first-hand information, right? Student affairs.
Can we record classes?